Alright guys, so I wanted to go over my first attempt at acrylic wash. I've used the oil wash in the past with awesome success. As you can see here, gave a really nice weathering effect with little, this is dollar store pretty much, oil paint and a little bit of mineral spirits, and made for a really nice wash. That takes like a week plus to dry. So I wanted to try something a little different because I'm extremely impatient. So first we'll go over the tools and then we'll do the technique. And thankfully, yet again, tools are super easy on this build. I guess the channel here kind of emphasizes on budget builds. I don't have a whole lot of room or budget really to work with, but yeah, so basically what you need is some acrylic black paint. Some people will mix up black, yellow, red to get more of like a rust color. For my purposes, I'm going for more of like an anime look, so black seems to work fine for me. Earlier I had experimented with doing a wash the traditional way, which would be to coat your part and then wipe away the excess. And while that does work, kind of, it really doesn't work the way that oil paints do. You're basically going to wipe off almost all of it. So what I've found is for doing individual parts or pieces, I've just recently wiped off this part of God Gundam's backpack here, or wings. So what I've been doing, instead of the brush and then wipe off kind of technique, I've been coating a little bit of sponge, just a little bit, and then getting off some of that excess, almost kind of dry brush, and then just kind of very gently you can see there kind of the stretch marks. Now that may be a little bit too much for some, so with a cleaner sponge, kind of want to go over that. Now one thing I've noticed with acrylic is that it actually is going to clean the edge faster than it's going to clean like this horizontal surface here. So it is kind of a little bit trickier to work in that way. So what I've been doing is again doing just a very slight weathering pattern here. Oop, it's a little much. And then kind of where I put too much paint there, just kind of dabbing it with this cleaner sponge and then strike out. And you can see what I mean by the acrylic drying faster. That whole weathering mark there is, to this sponge at least, it's not, my finger can easily get it up, but it does dry quite a bit faster. So there's a little bit more of a technique to it. Oop. This paint might need thinned a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put some paint on this sponge that I've already been kind of drying off other parts with. You kind of work in levels. You know, this has been obviously the dirtiest, and then work down to your cleanest ones, and then kind of rotate out to not waste the sponge. Dab that on the paper towel there, and just real light back and forth. Yeah, this paint might need thinned a little bit, but no worries. We'll just go over with this brush or this sponge. Thin it out a little bit. And just very lightly. And stretch those out. You just want to repeat this process until you've achieved the level of weathering that you're looking for. This one's a little bit heavier now. These ones came out real nice. I didn't wipe these ones away, obviously. You can see the wash did a pretty good job of penetrating these areas here, making them look a little bit dirtier. Especially on the back here. It's really nice. So I will say that the oil wash is kind of the way to go, but you can achieve some nice weathering look with the acrylic paints. Let's see, it's the body here. So yeah, depending on how I feel about this, I may even add an oil wash later on. As you can see, these details here in the back of the skirt just didn't really catch enough paint. Actually, that little scratches there, I kind of just did with my fingernail, back and forth. Just makes for a nice little scratch look. But anyways, yep. If you're wanting to try some weathering, panel lighting, any of that, and don't really have much of a budget, a wash is a great alternative. Again, I would recommend oil if you have the time to wait. If not, acrylic seems to do the job. It just takes a little bit more effort to get it down right. But yeah, can't wait to see what you guys have. So I figured we'd go ahead and make this really kind of weathering in general. Now adding the metallic kind of as a bonus. It really pops on the darker colors. Adds a really nice damaged, weathered effect, especially living on the shoes. The Nikes. Okay, so now I'm by no means the inventor of this technique. I just thought I'd throw in what I've seen people doing. I use my metallic paint marker pen just to mark up a sponge. I'm going to use this part that's already been washed with the acrylic wash and just very gently, fortunately you're not going to be able to see quite the detail, using these tiny fibers, just patting the edges ever so slightly, and then dragging as well to give yourself that sort of more of a damaged look, especially from these points. Any of these edges you want to kind of pull away from. See, it's taking nice shape there. With this specific pen, if I put too much on, I just dab a Q-tip and some mineral spirits. That will wash away the acrylic wash, so I have to keep that in mind. With this metallic, especially with this paint pen, I have to be extremely deliberate because the paint that comes out of the pen dries extremely fast. And so yeah, I won't bore you with doing all this. But yeah, you can come up with some pretty nice effects using the metallic. So I thought I'd just throw that in there. And yeah, as always, looking forward to see what you guys do.